Hello class, Mr. Stone here. The problems we're going to solve today, they actually came from one of my good students. They had some tests and quizzes last week, and these are some of the problems they had. So we're just going to go over how to solve them, and that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so now when you sit down to a test or a quiz, you open it up. Say there's 10 problems in the quiz or the test. Of course, it's timed, so you might have 30 minutes, 40 minutes, who knows what you got, okay? But now you know if there's 10 problems, you got 3 minutes or 2 minutes, 4 minutes to work on each problem, okay? Look down them real quick, okay? Just glance down if you can, if that's how they're arranged, if you don't have to flip pages. Because there will be some that will be easier to solve than others. You know, like maybe number 1 might be hard, number 2 might be hard. But then you get down, this problem here is number 4. And this might be easy. You say, oh, I can solve this real fast. Okay, solve that one real quick. Okay, put the answer down, and hey, that's in there. Okay, look, keep looking down. Now maybe 8 is an easy one. Solve that. Okay, put the answer down to 8. Because what you don't want to do is get tied up with problem number 1, 2, 3, or 4, or whatever, and you get bogged down. Next thing you know, the timer ends. And hey, you never solved 8, you never solved 7, and those were easy ones, which you could have got some points for. Okay, so that's a way to take tests and quizzes that might help you. Okay, grab the easy ones, you know, the low fruit. Okay, just pull them off and solve them, and hey, move on and do the hard ones later. Okay, you can always go back to it. Okay, so hey, let's start with this one. Okay, now solve the equation. Okay, what I do here, I'd look at real quick, and I'd see 30 over 6. Hey, I can reduce that real fast because I know 6 goes into 35 times. Okay, so hey, let's rewrite this and put it as 5x. Okay, so we got a negative 12 plus 5x because I just reduced it. Okay, 5x equals 3x minus 6. Now, move the terms around. Combine like terms, okay? What I do here, hey, let's add 12 to both sides. Add 12 to this side, add 12. What I do to one side, I got to do to the other, so I add 12 to this side. Okay, these two cross out, a negative 12 and a positive 12 equals 0. Okay, the 5x carries down, 5x. The equal sign carries down, and the 3x carries down. Now, we got a positive 12 and a negative 6. What's the answer to that? It's a positive 6 plus 6. Okay, plus 6. Okay, so hey, what do I do now? Hey, let's subtract. We still got to get the x's by itself. Let's subtract a 3x from both sides. We subtract 3x from this side. What we do to one side, we got to do to the other, 3x. Okay, carries down, we got a 2x. Equals. These two cross each other out. A positive 3x and a negative 3x is 0. Okay, and what do we got here? We got a 6. A 6 carries down. Okay, so now we still got to solve for x. So what we have here for a problem, it's 2 times x equals 6. So hey, what's the opposite of times? It's division. Okay, so we divide both sides by 2. Okay, what you do to one side, you got to do the other. Okay, now 2 divided by 2 is a 1, so that's an x by itself now, 1x. Okay, 2 divided by 6 is 3. So my answer is x equals 3. Let's see if that's one of the answers they give. And sure enough, it is. It's right there, so I'll color that in. Hey, I'm moving on to the next one. But you see how quick we kind of answered that one? That was a lot faster, okay? So we didn't eat up our minutes, okay? Now, we get down to this one. Okay, what I do here, okay, I'd look at this and I'd say, hey, I got to kind of get these all the same. So, okay, I got a half, I got a 3/4, I got a 3/4, I got an 1/8. I got to try to get these all to the same denominator, okay? So I can put these together, okay? So, hey, let's take the 5.5 and let's make it, an improper fraction, okay? So I don't know if you remember how to do that, but I'm going to show you right up here. 5.5 equals, I want to make this an improper fraction. It's 2 times 5. I'm just going to write a dot for the times, okay? I hate writing the x because, as you see, we're using x as a variable, okay? And then you add whatever the answer is to that. You add. So it's 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1, it's 11. So that equals 11 halves, okay? So hey, let's carry this down. We got 11 halves, and we get an x, okay? Now the next one, plus, okay? We do the same with this. We do 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So it's 7/4. Okay? Now it's plus, okay? Let's multiply the 2 and get rid of the brackets at the same time, okay? 2 times 3/4, okay? The 2 is going to cancel out into the bottom, so it's going to end up to be 3 halves. Okay? You see how the 2 goes into the 4? Now, and it's going to be an x, so 3 halves x. Okay, this is looking good because I got the 11.5 x in the front. Okay, now the 2 gets canceled out by the 8, makes it a 4. Okay, so it's going to be 3/4. Okay, and it's a minus sign. I didn't mean minus. We can't forget that. Okay, so we get rid of that. Okay, so now, okay, let's combine like terms. Okay, so we got 11 halves x plus 3 halves x, okay, is going to be 14 half x. Now, it's a positive 7/4, and it's a negative 3/4. So what would that be? It'd be 4/4. It's going to be a positive, because that's bigger, 4/4. Okay? So, hey, quick math tells you 2 goes into 14 7 times. 7, the x gets carried down. 4/4 is 1. Okay, so it's going to be a plus 1. And that's it. We got it all the way down. Now, is that one of my answers? Yeah, look at this. It's right here. So, hey, we solved that lickety split. Okay, that was, we just moved right through it. Now, let's move down to the next one. Okay, now the next one. I had to write in the 5.5D at the end, right in here, because it didn't show up when we screenshotted the problem. Okay, so, hey, let's go according to this. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite it. It's 25. I wish I used smaller numbers, but they didn't. 812 minus 4.2 2D equals, now we got 31.311, and it's minus 5D, 5.5D. Okay, so we got all that. So now what we got to do, we got to kind of combine like terms. Let's get the 5.5D over to the left-hand side. So I'm going to add 5.5D to both sides. What you do to one side, you got to do the other side. Okay? So I add 5.5 to this side. Okay? So let's draw the lines across. This carries down 2, 5, 2, 5, 8, 1, 2. Okay, now 5.5 and 4.2, it's 1.3, and it's a positive because it's bigger. Equals. Now this carries down 3, 1, 3, 1, 1. These two cross out, a positive 5.5 and a negative 5.5 makes 0. Okay, so now I'm down to here. Okay, now we still got to get the D by itself. Okay, so let's subtract 25,812 from both sides. Okay, this carries down to 1.3 D. These cross each other out, a 25,812 positive and a negative. They cancel each other. They're zeros. Okay, now the difference between 31,311 and 25,812 is 5,499. Now, we still got to get the D alone. So what do we got? We got 1.3 times D. So, hey, let's divide both sides by 1.3. Okay? So D, I'm just going to write over here, D equals, divide 54999 by 1.3. On my calculator, it equals 4230, and that's D. Let's see if that's one of my answers. Yeah, look at this. It is. It's right up here. Huh? So we got that one solved. Okay? But, that wasn't too bad. Okay, now let's move down to the next one. Okay, the next one. Okay. Got 5.3 W, 8W minus. So we got to combine all these together. Collect like terms. Okay. So hey, what do we got on the left hand side? Well, the 8W minus the 5.3W is 2.7W. Okay. Now we got minus 11.6 equals. Now on the right hand side, we got 25.6 on a negative scale, okay, and 14. So that's going to be a negative 11.6. And now we got plus 2.7W. Okay, well, I'm looking at this, right? You ready? I can rewrite this a little bit. Let me just get an eraser here. Okay, let's get back to the pen. Okay, I could rewrite this. I could write 2.7 W minus 11.6. I could rewrite that. That's that. Now equals. Can I move the 2.7 in the front? Have the positive? Sure, I could. Okay, 2.7 W. Now it would be minus 11.6. Well, as I look at this, these are alike. These are the same thing. You know what that means is any number I put in W, I put a 1 in, I put a 2 in, I put a 3 in. No matter what I put in there, both sides are going to be the same. You know what that tells me? It's infinite solutions. Anything's going to be the same because these are the same. Okay? They become the same. Okay? And that's all there was to that one. Okay? And now I'm just moving on to the next one. Okay? Now, the next one. Okay. Okay, the next one. Now, what we got here, okay? What I'd do on this one, I'd simplify. I'd divide by 5, okay? So if you divide, let's rewrite this, okay? So we get 2 oops. That's a negative. Is greater than. If we divide this first one by 5, okay, we're going to get negative 2 minus 6 minus 8 is greater than negative 12. Now we remove the parentheses, okay? So we come down to negative 4x plus 12 minus 8 is greater than negative 12. Yeah, we just keep working down. Let's see. Let's put things together. Okay, so we got we add these two together, we get a positive 4. So we get 4x plus greater than negative 12. Now, if we subtract 4 from both sides, negative 16, okay? Now we come down with 4x. Whoop, negative 4x. 16 divided by negative 4. So we got x. Now, the key here, right, okay, is you have to flip the sign. When you divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, you flip it, okay? So the sign is now flipped, okay? So instead of being greater than or equal to, it's x is less than. Now, 16 divided by negative 4, a negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive. So the answer is x is less than 4, okay? So hey, let's see if that's one of them. Yep, right here. Okay, just remember when you divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, you got to flip that sign. A lot of times they don't, okay? And as you see, number 1 there doesn't show it flipped. So if you didn't remember that rule that you have to flip that sign, you might get this, not correct, okay? But you see how legibly I'm writing you all this, okay? You might get a lot of teachers as you progress on in the later grades that they might go down and see, oh yeah, the student carried it forward a certain amount, and then they just made a silly mistake down near the bottom, and they might give them a partial credit for that, okay? So remember always in your test, if you got room, always write very legibly, because you might get teachers that will grade you different, okay? The fact that you did know it all the way to the end, and you divided 4 into 20, and you didn't come up with 5, you came up with 4, okay? You just made a silly mistake, okay? But you might get teachers that will grade you a little different, okay? Or when you go back to check your work, if you got time at the end of the exam, remember, never turn in your test paper early. Always, hey, be the last one. They're flipping the lights. They're kicking you out of the class, okay? So that way you can go back and you can, if you write nice and neat, you can go back and check all your work, okay? And you might catch that, okay? You might catch a silly mistake that you make, okay? So, hey, let's see what we got here, okay? So, we got 1/8 brackets 128 minus 20w, okay, equals 0.4 times brackets 6.25w plus 50. Hey, let's multiply by 8. Get rid of this, okay? So I'm going to rewrite this. I got rid of the 8 on the first one now, so I just got a 1. So I can leave this like this. It's 128. I can just write 128. 128. Okay, I got rid of that 1/8, okay, by multiplying times 8, okay? But remember, what I do to one side, I got to do the other, okay? So now I got 20w, okay? And all I did was multiply times 8. Multiply by 8, okay? So, yeah, that's how, so you know that's what I did, okay? Now, this is equal to, okay, 0.4 times 8 is 3.2. Okay? Now, I still got my brackets over this side. I haven't got rid of them yet. Okay? I got a negative 6.25. Okay? Plus 50. Plus 50. Okay? Now, hey, let's start getting rid of the brackets. Okay? So I'm going to carry this down. So I got a 128. Okay? Minus 20w. Oh, I forgot the w up here. 20w equals, now 3.2 times 6.2, negative 6.25 is a negative 20. Okay, now 3.2 times 50, okay, is a positive 160. All I did was multiply that times that, and that times that distributive property. I carried it through, okay, and that's all I did there. Okay, now, hey, let's combine like terms, okay? I can't forget to put these W's on, okay? So, now, what do we got here? Let's see. We got, if we add 20w to both sides, 20w to this side, we add 20w to this side, okay? Let's see what this does. We bring down the 128. These cross each other out. These cross each other out. Equals 160? No, it doesn't. Okay, that doesn't equal 160. Okay, so this tells me there's no solution. No solution. Let's see if that's one of my answers. Yep, look at this right up here. No solution. There's no solution to this. No matter what value I give that w, I'm not going to find a solution to this. Okay, these are never going to equal each other. Okay, so as you see, that's all there was to that. Okay, so hey, let's go down to the next one. Okay, Okay, so we got 11 twos. X. No, I think they moved to a Z now. This is Z plus 9/5 equals 1.8. Okay, but you know what I got to do here? I got to change these also. They're the same thing. The 1.8 doesn't really work, okay? It's got to be in the fractions the same as the other, okay, to help me add these. Or I got to convert it all to decimals, okay? So I got a choice, okay? Well, I can look at the 1.8 and say, hey, because don't forget the whole number over here is 9/5. So can I make 1.8 into fifths? Sure I can, okay? I know number one, equals 5/5. Equals 5/5. 1 equals 5/5. Any number. 1 equals 4/4, 8/8, 9/9. It equals 5/5. But now, how much does 0.8 equal? Okay, so I already kind of know if you got, I'm just going to write down the bottom here. You got 8/10. This is what the fraction looks like, okay? That's what it looks like, 8/10. Okay, so to make this a decimal, okay, I'd put it like this. 10 goes into 8. .4. Okay, so it's 4/10. Oop, back to it. I'll show you. Okay, I should have wrote it like this. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 goes into 10 5 times. That's how it should be written. Okay, so it's 4/5. So plus 4/5. I'm getting rid of the decimals. I'm putting it back into decimals, but in reality, it should be 4/5. So 5/5 and 4/5 is how many? 9/5. Okay, 9/5. So what I'm going to have here, I'm going to rewrite it down here. 11Z plus 9/5 equals 9/5. Okay, now I got a 12Z and a 6.5Z. Okay, so what's the difference between them? It'd be 5.5Zs. Okay, plus 5.5Zs. Okay, now can 11, if you take the 11 over 2, right? How many Z's would that be? 2 goes into 11. How many times? 5. 0.5. So we get 5.5 Z's on this side plus 9/5 equals, can I rewrite this side? I can write 5.5 plus 9/5. You know what I'm seeing here? These are both the same. The left-hand side's equal to the right-hand side. So what would that, we just did one a little earlier. That means any value I put in there, it's going to work. Okay? Any value. So it's infinite solutions. Okay? That's it. Infinite solutions is my answer. Any value I put in there. Okay? Because they're both the same. But you see how we had to convert this? We had to either get it all to decimals, which we could have done, or we have to get it all to fractions, is what we chose. Okay? And as long as you keep the solid numbers as decimals, or the ones with the variable as decimals or fractions, you just got to get it all the same, okay? And that's all there was to it, okay? So, hey, let's move on to the next one, okay? We're wrapping this up. Now, what do we got here, okay? Whoop. Let me erase that. I got a red line. Went in there. Pen back. Okay, we got negative 8/5 plus 32 equals 4A minus 38. Okay, I got to get rid of the 5. Okay, I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. Okay, so if I multiply this side by 5, okay, 5, these are going to cross out. Okay, they're going to cross out. So I'm going to end up with a -8, A. Okay, but now if I multiply the first one times 5, I got to multiply this times 5 I got to multiply this times 5, and I got to multiply this times 5. What I do to one, I got to do to all of them, okay? I got to do to all of them. So 32 times 5, it's a positive number, okay? And it's 160. Now, I got an equal sign. 4a times 5, 20a. Negative 38 times 5, negative 190. Okay, so now, hey, let's get these values together, okay? Now, what I do here, let's subtract a 28 from this side. We can do this two different ways. I'm going to show you both ways, okay? So we can subtract a 28 from this side, and we subtract a 20 from this side, okay? Brings us down to a negative 28a. I sometimes hate to work in negatives, but hey, as long as both sides are negatives, it works out because I can come up with a positive answer, okay? Now, if I subtract, okay, plus 160 equals negative 190. Now, hey, let's subtract 160 from both sides. These carry down. So we get a negative 28a. Okay. Now we got 160 over here. That's 350. 50. Okay, now we divide by a negative 28. What we do to one side, we got to do the other side. The a carries down. These cross out, right? So we get a equals a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 12.5. That's what I get for an answer, 12.5. And sure enough, there it is right there. Okay, we could have flipped this around and went the other way and added the 8a to both sides, you know, and we would have came up with the same answer. Okay, it really didn't matter which way we went. I kind of just wanted to show you that, hey, you could end up with a negative on both sides, and you're still going to come up with this positive number. Okay, if you came up with a negative on one side and a positive on the other, you're probably going to come up with a negative answer. Okay, but it didn't really matter. I just wanted to show you that you divide a negative by a negative, and you come up with a positive answer. And that's all there was to it. Okay, that's the last problem I had. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share this with any mathematical students you got, because it will help them maybe on their future exams, because they might see problems like this, and they'll get a better grade. And that's what it's all about, the student getting a better grade. And you guys have a great day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.